Hey, everybody, and happy Thursday. Hope everybody's doing good. I actually have to just give me a second, move some of these things. I got my order from the new mini catalog, and I have it all just sitting right here. So I just have to make myself some room. So I hope everybody's doing good. Tonight we're going to be playing with these cute little elephants and the Elephant Parade stamp set. Hey, Kathy. Hi, Fran. Hello. That must be Karen. How are you, honey? And the matching dies. This is just the cutest little set. And you could use it for children. You could use it for, a girlfriend. They're just so cute. It has all the little peanuts, so you can just die cut peanuts, or you could stamp the peanut and then die cut it. And then we have the two little ribbons, this little flower. So there's a few of these that are really tiny. And I have to say, I did misplace one of my little ribbons, and the hunt was on this afternoon. So this is the bundle we're going to use tonight. And then for the little elephant train, it's going to hold for Ferrero Rocher. I'm using this stamp from Lovely and Lasting. This is going to be my go-to. I can see it now. And the punch. Tonight, let me just get a piece of paper here. I'm giving away a cup of tea class to go. It was actually my craft box. I have an extra one. So tonight, no spaces. You want to comment hashtag cup of tea, and we'll be giving that away towards the end of the video. So no space, okay? No spaces. Thank you, Fran. Hi, Margaret. It is Karen. I thought it was. Hi, Kathy. I do. How are you? So I really don't have any announcements to make. Other than I did get my order, and if anybody would like to see some of the new product, just let me know in the comments, and maybe we can do that over the weekend. So I did something a little different with the elephants. Instead of stamping the elephants on white paper and coloring them in, I actually stamped them on the gray. I thought it would be a little different. Sorry, I have to get some. I'm getting something. So this is the smoky slate. And I'll show you exactly how to get this little guy looking like this. Or this one's a little girl. Hello, hello. And you'll also notice that inside her ears are pink. And I actually paper pieced the ears on this elephant, on the blue card. And I also did it to the little mouse's belly. You can see right here. So just to add a little something different to the image. And then we have the cute little train. And this is where I used that stamp from Lovely and Lasting and the punch. And it's just going to hold that chocolate just like that. So let's get started. We're going to start with the little pink card. So I'm going to start with my basic white, and it's 11 by 4¼ and it's scored at 5½. Let me just get my bone folder out here. And then I have an additional layer of basic white, and that's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Then I have a layer of petal pink, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have a piece of DSP, and this DSP is actually from the Host gifts, and it's called Design a Daydream. If you host a party, this is something that would be available to you with $150 in sales that you could purchase at a reduced rate. And this is actually 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And what we're going to do, and I don't think there's enough glue in here, so let me grab a new glue. We're just going to adhere all these layers together. Okay. It's really actually a nice evening here today. I have my the air conditioning in the house is on. I have my window open so Iggy can sit and look outside at the birds or the bunny. I have a little bunny. Thanks, Kathy. It was just something different I wanted to try, because these elephants are so cute, and there are so many different ways to create with them. Okay, so there's that layer, and then we're just going to put it right on the front of, sorry, right on the front of the card. It's so funny how warm it is in here when you're not used to being in a room without air conditioning. It gets you. Okay, so there is the front of our card. And I'm just going to grab my bottle of water here for a second. Okay. And then I die cut one of the scallop circles. And this one is the 2 3/4. And then I die cut a regular circle, and this is 2 5/8. And what I'm going to do with this circle, I'm just going to get a piece of scrap paper, if I can grab a hold of it. And I actually have, and it's an old one, so if you were to make a purchase and you wanted these make and takes, I have an old cloud die from my days of working on design teams. And I actually, if I can find it here, use this for my clouds. And if you were to place an order and want these make and takes, I would send you a template so you too could use it for your clouds. So here is what I did. I just cut out one side of a piece of paper, and I'm going to grab some petal pink and my blending brush. And what I'm going to do is, on my circle, I'm going to line this up, get some ink on my brush, and I'm just going to go right along the edge to create a little bit of clouds. And then I'm just going to move it down and I'm going to shift it over a little so my clouds look a little different and it's not uniform. So we're just going to add some color. And let's move it over this way. Just to add a little bit of clouds behind this cute little elephant. And I think I'm going to leave it just like that. So now we have our clouds on the back of our piece. Put that aside. We can now pull in our petal pink scallop circle and we can adhere this right to this circle. And then we can sit it aside while that's drying. Now for the elephant, I actually did, let's see if they're both here. I actually did cut out from the designer series paper. And all I did was, and I'm just going to grab any old designer series paper, and I knew that I wanted to use the little elephant that's sitting. And where is he? Okay, so all I did was inked up his head, stamped just his head, and of course fussy cut out the little ears. Okay, and then we're going to use some slate gray and some Memento. Make sure I'm on the middle of the screen. I know I have a habit of going off screen. And we're going to stamp this little guy just like that. And then what you would do is take this sweet little coordinating die, and it's perfect. If you don't have the magnetic mat, I would use some washi tape to hold it down, run it through your embossing machine, and then we have this cute little elephant after it's die cut. So now we have to add his little ears. So I'm just going to get my pokey tool, and I'm actually using the fine tip glue pen, and I'm just going to add a bit of glue to the inside of his ear, and I'm actually not even coming all the way to the edge because I don't want it to ooze out. So I'm leaving it towards the center. Let's turn him around again, and then we're going to take that pink that we fussy cut, and we're going to fit it right in there on his ear. Okay. And then we're going to do the same exact thing. I must be on a hill. Let me just get this on his other ear. So we're just going to take it, and I'm going to dab that a little bit because I'm afraid I have too much. That's better. And then we're just going to add this little pink piece to this ear. So this is a great technique when you don't want to color. Hey, Kay. Hey, Dawn. How are you, honey? Hey, Sheila. Okay. So now that we have our little elephant, like I said, instead of coloring on white paper, I decided to use this smoky slate, and then I'm going to grab some light gray granite. I actually have to add some shadows. So I'm using the gray granite, and this is light, and I'm just going to go under his face, right here, where his front legs hit his back leg, in the center of his belly, on this side, and underneath. Then up on his face, I'm just going to, where his ears hit his face, I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow there. It's very subtle. You really can't see it that much, but it's there. You can see it being here looking at it. And then I'm going to take my Stampin' Chalk marker and highlight him. Now, be aware that when you first put the chalk on, it is going to absorb into the cardstock. I just take off that little piece. But I don't want you to keep going over the same spot over and over and over. Put your little spot there, move on, and we're going to come over here, put a little bit on his forehead, and then we're going to come over here to the tip of his ears. So I just want you to put the color on, let it dry a bit, and then go back over the same spot again. And you'll notice that it gets whiter. If you keep going over when it's still wet, what's going to happen is your paper is going to start to pull or pill, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to add some white there, and I'm actually going to go back and do it again. The more layers, the brighter this chalk is going to get. So all I want to do is just highlight a few little areas. And now you can see that he's got some highlights on the gray. And all I did, me too. Hi, Beverly. I love the elephants. You'll see just with a couple layers of the chalk marker, it'll give you the highlights on this gray cardstock. Okay. So now that we have our little elephant together, let's grab this tiny little ribbon, and we're going to actually put a dab of glue, and I'm going to close this up because I do not think I need it anymore. If I can just, there we go. I didn't think I'd be able to get it in. And then grab this tool again so I can lift that ribbon up, and let's put it right up on top of her head. Okay. We'll move her over and get rid of that paper. All right. So now she's going to be popped up onto the front of our circle. I actually die cut 2 pieces of grass that are in the set. And then I also stamped and die cut these tiny little flowers so you could see, so they were all done. And what I did, this is the inside of the card, and I'm going to do that now so I can show you exactly what I did to stamp those flowers. Let's use this side. So I grabbed my Stampin' Right markers. Where's the other one? There it is. And I grabbed Just Jade and Gorgeous Grape. And I'm just going to move this up a little. And here is the stamp. It is tiny. It's not even an inch tall. It's about 5/8 of an inch tall. And all I did was took my Stampin' Right marker and using the brush on its side, I'm just going to color the leaf and the stem. And then I'm going to grab the Gorgeous Grape and I am going to just color the flower, making sure it's all covered. And then I'm going to actually stamp it right there. This is the inside of the card, and I'll show you what I did to it when we get there. But I'm going to, just so I can show you how to stamp with your Stampin' Right markers. Now, you don't want to use your blends. Your blends will ruin your markers, your stamps. But the Stampin' Right markers are perfect. So that's how I got these cute little flowers in Just Jade and Gorgeous Grape. Yeah, that's true. Above the trunk, yes. Very, very true. You could fussy cut it. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to fussy cut because it is just a blank space, right? Okay, so let's just put that aside till we get to the center. And we're going to go back to our little elephant here. So now that her bow is most probably dry, we're going to grab some dimensionals. I have one stuck to my finger. And we're just going to pop her right up onto the clouds. Now I'm going to put her pretty much right in the center. Okay. And then I'm going to grab the grass. And because there is not much space to add dimensionals, and I do want it to be level with her, I'm just going to grab my other scissors and I'm going to cut a very thin strip from the edge of my dimensionals. And if I can just grab a hold of it, I'll use that. Take this paper off. Turn the grass around, and I'm just going to line this up right at the bottom of the grass. And then we're going to take it, and I'm going to stick it right here in front of our elephant. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other grass. So let's take that off. Hold on to it with the tool. Turn the grass over. And then we're going to take this one, and I'm going to get it even, but I'm going to leave a little bit of space in the center because that's where I put my ribbon. Now the ribbon is retired, but I did have a whole spool of it. So, okay, so now that we have our grass there, let's grab one of our flowers. And I'm actually going to just add some glue if it wants to come out to the end. And I'm just going to stick it behind the grass. And I glued it up under the grass itself. So it's attached to the grass. Then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. This way I don't have to worry about a dimensional underneath. It will automatically get pulled up on the grass. Let's just get this under here. Push that grass down, and you'll see it pulls the flower right up. So I have my say that 10 times fast. Organdy striped ribbon, and we're going to tie a nice little bow. We'll just get this layer all done. So has everybody been having hot weather around you? I know here it's been pretty warm. Thank you, Kathy. Thanks, Kay. Hey, Pam, how are you? Okay, so we're just going to tie a quick ribbon. Going to make sure that knot is nice and tight. See if I can't get it off my fingers. And then this time what I'm going to do is, where this ribbon is so wide, I'm actually going to fold it in half and then cut it at an angle. So then we have the V in the center. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. I just want to see where I want to cut it. Get it sort of even. So you want the outer sides of the ribbon to be points. And that didn't work out, did it? Let's try that again. I didn't line it up very well. Ah, that's better. So you want the long sides to have the points and the V's in the center. So then we're just going to grab a glue dot. I'm going to actually stick it right here in between the grass and then adhere it. Puff that up. Okay, so now our circle is done. I'm going to bring in 2 more pieces. This is the petal pink, and this is 1 5/8 by 5. And then the same designer series paper, but just the opposite side. This is 1 1/2 by 5. And I'm just going to take this punch, and I forgot the name of it. And I'm going to put this in, and it doesn't really fit in to the sections on the punch itself. So I'm just going to turn it over and eyeball that I have the same amount of space on each side of this piece of cardstock, and then punch. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the designer series paper. I'm just going to eyeball it and hope it's pretty well straight and punch. And then we're going to adhere these 2 together. So I'm going to just get the bottom where I want it. I gotta move it over a little bit. And I'm going to trim the top so it's even. And I could use my cutter, but I'm just gonna trim it off with my scissors. Looks a little crooked there, so let me get this one little piece here. Okay. Now we can pull in our card. We're going to pop this up onto the front of the card. And I'm actually going to line it up with the Designer Series paper at the top. And I want it to be centered. So we're going to lay that down. Make sure it's on there straight. And then the little elephant, I want it to be popped up onto this strip. So let's turn her over. And I'm going to put my dimensionals right down the center. So we want that little elephant to be straight. So we're going to put her right about there. Let's pull in our pearls. And we're going to use the medium pearls. And I'm going to put one in the corner and one right underneath. And then the smaller pearls, I'm going to put one in the corner and one right next to it. And then for her little ribbon, I'm again going to get one of the little pearls and stick it right there on her ribbon. So that is the front of our card. So now for the inside, I do have these little flowers. And then I'm going to take a strip of the striped Designer Series paper. I could have used this side, the inside of her ears, but I decided to use the striped section. And we're just going to, and this is 1/4 of an inch. Oops. Too much glue. So let's get some of that out. Add some glue. And then I have a strip of the petal pink. And we're just going to line this up right at the edge. And I'm going to lift it up so I can pull it down a little bit. There we go. And get it centered on the cardstock. And then we're going to add some glue to the back. And we're going to put it right underneath our little flowers. And again, I'm just going to hold it up and push it down so it's nice and even and flat with the side of the card. Then we can turn this over and give it a little trim. And then I actually did die cut one more piece of the grass. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. And we're going to add it right here in front of the flowers. And then I believe, and I did, we're going to grab our next stamp. And it is What a Happy Day. in Petal Pink. And I'm going to try to get this on here straight. And there we go. So let's grab some seal, my Petal Pink layer. Now I will have a PDF for these cards posted sometime tomorrow. I'm not sure how early, or we'll see what happens. You'll notice that in the group today and on my business page, I posted the information on the event and I'm having in October. I would love if some of you would be able to join me. I'm looking for an eraser. Here it is. If you would like to stay instead of making it just a day trip and you'd like to stay overnight, you can always get in touch with me. There are plenty of places to stay in the area. So it wouldn't be a trip that you'd have to come and go all in the same day. Okay. So there is card number 1. And then the cute little inside. Thanks, Fran. So she's pretty cute. Now for the next card, I figured let's do them in blue. So I have some basic white, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And then I have, got to be careful because I have little pieces in here. I have a layer of basic white, and this should be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Then I have a layer of balmy blue, 5 1/4 by 4. And then from the same package of Designer Series paper, I have this cute little one with the birds or seagulls. And this is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So again, let's layer these all together. We're just going to put it down right on the front of the card. You can hear the robins outside the window. I don't know if anybody had seen my post about the robin that kept flying into my window. Thanks, Kay. How are you, honey? Well, I finally discovered that they had a nest in my holly tree in the front. So that is the daddy robin out there yapping because the little babies just left the nest within the last day or so. There was 3 of them. Very cute. Okay. So there we go. Those are the layers. A basic white, a balmy blue, and the Designer Series paper. I just got to get a drink, ladies. Sorry. Okay. Set that aside. Next, what I have is a balmy blue stitched rectangle, and this is 3 by, what is that? 4 3/8. And then I also die cut the stitched rectangle, and this is the next smallest one, and it's 4 by 2 5/8. Okay. Let me just move these over a second here. Where's that? There he is. And we're going to pull in our scrap paper. And my clouds. And I gotta grab my Bonnie Blue. And my brush. And we're going to do the same thing to this background that we did to the pink one. So if you missed the pink one, I will, like I said, I will die cut you if you want these make and takes. Hey, do. Yeah, they are loud, aren't they? Because they're right out here. I'll make you one of these stencils so you can create clouds on your own. All you have to do is when you get if you make a purchase for the make and takes, that I'll include it with the make and takes. So we're just going to go right along the edge. And I know it probably doesn't even look like anything is happening, but when you pull this up, you really can see the clouds. So let's pull this over like this. And we'll do it again. We just want to go right against the edge. And let's pull it over this way. Has anybody watched the show Stranger Things on Netflix? That's what we've been watching lately. It is a crazy, crazy show. That's what we were watching before I came in tonight. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull it over this time so we have a little bit of something different. It'll be in the opposite direction. So and it adds a little bit of different color because I used the petal pink on that side. Okay. So now we have our blue sky and clouds. So we're going to grab our balloon and Memento. And we're going to stamp this balloon close to this corner right here. Just like that. And we're going to give that a little bit of time to dry. So let's move it over a little bit. I can put my brush away. I did the same thing. We're going to do the same thing to our little elephant. We're going to grab our light gray granite and add some shadows. So we're going to come under his trunk, around his face, and around his ear. This back leg is going to be darker. And this leg over here, we're going to add some because his little trunk is in front of it. The top of his ears. And I'm going to leave, well, let's put some here, right on the side of his trunk. So now we're going to grab that chalk marker and we're going to do the same exact thing. You don't want to keep going over it. You're going to just add it where you want some highlights. I'm going to put some here and here. And we'll get this leg here. And then you're going to go over it again, because you don't want that to ruin your paper. Let's get that one. So if you keep going over where you're adding the white, it'll brighten up. You just want to go layer by layer. So you'll be able to see that the white now shows up. Aw, she fell asleep. And we're going to grab our glue again. And I'm going to put some glue right in the center of his ear, because I fussy cut from the same pack of paper some blue. And then let's get this one over here. So now he has cute little blue ears. Now I did the little mouse in crumb cake, and then I cut out a soft suede and crumb cake belly. So we're going to add his belly. And this goes this way. So now he has this cute little belly. Now I did not, on the card, I did not highlight anything, but I did grab, I don't know if I know what I did with it. Oh, here it is, right in front of me. My Flirty Flamingo, and this is the light Flirty Flamingo. I'm just going to color in the center of his ears. So now we have our cute little elephant, and we have our little mouse. And we're just going to push them over a second. And I'm just going to, let me get this clean. Just give me a second. I got to get the glue off of this. And then put this pin back in. It's so funny. I have such a hard time. All right. So we're going to let's pull our clouds back in. And we're going to grab our stamp, Friends Forever. And we're going to ink this up really good. And you'll notice I put the sticker on. And we're going to stamp this right in the corner. Just like that. Just as a reminder, if you weren't here at the beginning of the video, thanks, Karen. I am giving away one of my cup of tea craft box subscriptions. And if you comment hashtag cup of tea, no spaces in between, I will be doing a drawing at the end of the video. You have to be here to win. Okay, so now let's look at this balloon. I'm going to grab some Balmy Blue, and I am actually going to use the brush part of the marker, because I am going to just flick it up and around the outside of the balloon. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the light one. I want to flick it in because then it will have just wisps at the ends and it blends just a little easier. Okay, and I'm going to go back to the dark one more time. So I really want this to be darker. And you know that if I put another layer of light on a layer of light, it's going to darken it. So now that the center of the balloon has no color, and then a little layer of light and dark around the outside, I can go back with my marker now and fill this area in. This will all blend together. And the center here of the balloon is going to be lighter because I left it white. Okay, if it's not white enough for you, you can take your chalk marker and add a little bit of white to it if you'd like. I'm going to leave it on this one. And then I have some clear Wink of Stella. And we're just going to go over this balloon with some Wink of Stella to give it a bit of a shine. So now we can grab our little elephant, and I want him to hold on to that string. So we're going to just adhere him right to this layer. And we'll put him right about there. Now he's holding on to that string. I'm just going to put a little dab of glue and grab a black ribbon that I die cut, and we're going to put that right there. And then we have our little mouse, and we want this mouse to be holding on to that elephant's tail. So we're going to add some glue. We want him to be right there on that tail. And I'm going to add another little drop of glue. Oops. And I have another bow. And we're going to add that bow right there on that elephant's tail. Now I grabbed some sequins. These are the For Everything Fancy sequin boxes. They come in blue, pink, and green. I grabbed the blue ones. And we're just going to put one here, here, here. I'm going to put one here too. And we just have to pick out a couple. And we're going to put these right here on the front of the card. Let's grab a smaller one. We use a gold. And then one more over here. Just like that. So while that's getting a little bit more dry, let's grab some glittered organdy ribbon. And we are going to put a bow at this bottom right-hand corner. Thanks, Kay. You like the green? Hi, Dawn. Thanks, Dawn. Okay, so we got a little... Yeah, the green is pretty. I think it'll be nice with the Bottles of Happiness. Is that what it's called? Make shaker cards with the bottles. All right. So let's grab a glue dot and we're going to put this bow right here. Fluff it up. And then it should be pretty dry. Let's add some glue. A rectangle. And then we're just going to get this on here. We want to make sure it is on here straight. And then we can pull in our card and grab our dimensionals and pop this right up onto the front of the card. Got lots of these little papers again. The dimensional papers. All right, so we're just going to center this and the front of our card is done. Now for the inside, I think this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 and 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to grab that balloon again. And ink it up. I'm just going to turn my paper sideways for a second here. And I'm going to put that balloon right there. And then I'm going to grab that little mouse. Now you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little dot right here on the stamp. That's where his hand is. I didn't want to put the sticker on him, so I just marked my stamp, and that's where his little hand is. So looking at that, I want his hand to pretty much be on that string or close to it. So we're going to stamp him right about there. And it is short, which is fine, because I'm going to just grab a black marker and I'm just going to continue that string right down to his hand. I could have put a little ribbon there, and I did not. So now we're going to go back to our Balmy Blue, and I'm going to add some flicks of dark. And then I'm going to add some flicks of the light. Just like that. I'm going to go back to the dark. And then come back with my light and give it a wash of color over the edge of the dark and then the blue. Now for this little mouse, I have some dark crumb cake, light crumb cake, and the light flirty flamingo. So let's color in the center of his ears. Let's grab the dark crumb cake, and we're going to add some to the bottom of his ears. That little piece, and part of that arm, under his face, this back leg, and part of his tail. Let's go around here. And then we're going to grab our light crumb cake. Let's fill in his ears. And then color in his face. His little body. His little hands and feet are very tiny. And then his belly. So I'm going to go back with the dark. Because you know when you go over the dark with a lighter color, it washes it out. All right, so now we have our little mouse hanging from a balloon on the inside. So we can put this on our layer. Pull in our card. Add some glue. Whoops. Make sure it's straight. And there is card number 2. All right, now we can make our little circus train. I just want to grab a piece of balmy blue. Okay, so there is card number 2. Let me just get some of these papers off of here. All right, balmy blue. We're going to grab the stamp from Lasting, what did I say that was? Lovely and Lasting. And our balmy blue stamp pad. And let's see. Let's grab the silicone mat and ink up and stamp 1 and stamp 2. So it's balmy blue on balmy blue. I'm going to grab my punch that goes with this stamp, line it up, and punch. All right, now we have the 2 sides to our little train. I put my pieces in a bag so they wouldn't fall out all over the place. Just give me 1 second here. So much static that they're stuck inside my bag. Okay. So now I have a basic white piece. And it is 3.5 by 4 1/8. I'm just going to pull in my trimmer. And we're going to score this at 1 inch on each side. Okay, so we can put that away. Grab my bone folder. I need a new one. And we're going to fold and burnish so we have nice crisp sides. And then I have the Designer Series paper that I did the elephant's ears. And this is actually 1 3/8 by 7/8. And before I even put the box together, I'm going to adhere these right to the end. Just makes it a little easier. Okay, so there's one. And there's two. I'll just give that a minute to dry. Now I took a 3/4 inch punch, circle punch, and I punched out 4 circles for the wheels. Okay, so now we have our sides and our wheels. Then I already did do my elephant. And then I actually wanted to do a reverse. So we would face the same direction on the other side. So what I did was, and this mat needs to be cleaned, so I'll do it on here again. I grabbed my stamp. I grabbed my memento. Let me just move up a little bit. And I inked up my elephant, so he's nice and thanks, Margaret. Oh, 2 babies. Well, congratulations. So I'm inking up, so it's nice and inky. And I'm actually stamping on my silicone mat. Then I'm going to grab a piece of the gray cardstock, lay it down, and then rub the cardstock over that image and lift it up. And then you'll have the same elephant, but facing the opposite direction. Now, it doesn't come out as crisp as the original, but it still is a pretty awesome image. The only thing is, I die cut him. I had to fussy cut him because there would be no way I could get it so he would be able to be die cut. Okay, so we have our elephants. Let's grab that gray marker and add some shadow. This back leg. This back leg. Under his belly. And we're going to leave that. So let's go over here and do him. I didn't fill in his little ears. I left his ears regular. We could actually, let's put a shadow on his tail. Let's grab that chalk marker. I want to get his ear, top of his head, little trunk. And then we're going to do it again. You want it just to dry a little bit so your paper doesn't pill. Let's do it again, because we want that white to really show up nice. Okay, so now we have our 2 little elephants ready. And then I already cut out the balloon, put a little peanut in the center, and we're going to add some balmy blue to the outside of this balloon. Grab our light. Just going to go back and add a little bit of dark. Let's fill in the color. And then for the little peanut, I grabbed my light and dark crumb cake again, and I'm just going to color it in the center dark, a little on each end, and then I'm grabbing the light and I'm just going to fill it in. So it's a little two-tone peanut. Okay, so now that that is all colored, let's grab our little wagon, and I'm actually going to make it so my tabs are going to hit each corner. And what do I mean by that? I'm doing this corner on this side. Whoops. So on this side, instead of cutting it here, I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut this tab this way. I just want to miter these corners. So then I'm going to turn it again. So I'm going to make sure that each tab, there's a tab facing each side of this little box, and then one more. Usually we'll put the tabs both on the same side. I actually want the tabs to be distributed all the way around. So we'll get rid of that. We'll get our Seal Plus, and let's just pull out this mat. And let's add it as close to that score line as you can. Oops. And then we'll put a little at the end. Whoops. By that score line. I don't use this one as much as I use the other one, so it's like foreign to me. But it is good for boxes because it's so strong. And then we're just going to make our little box. And using the seal makes it nice and easy. We don't have to wait for glue to dry. So now we have our cute little box. Now this measures 2 1/8 by 1 1/2, so it's tiny. And you can see I have one of the Ferrero Rocher. Is that how you say it? So now we're going to turn this box over, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue on each end, and I'm going to put my wheel on so it's about halfway over the edge. Just like that. And then I'm going to turn it over. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. A little bit of glue. About halfway. And we have our little wheels. Then we're going to grab the punched label and we're going to add some glue. You don't want to add it all the way to the top because we're just putting it on the little box itself. And we're going to line it up with the bottom of the box and make sure it's about centered. And that's going to need to dry. And flip it over and grab the other one. Add some glue. And again, line it up with the bottom. Just like that. So now we have our two elephants. We're going to pop these little guys up onto the side of our box. And we want to try to get him so he's a little bit centered. Now this is the elephant that I stamped and die cut. This is the elephant that I stamped and fussy cut. So I'm going to use the fussy cut elephant as the back of my little box. All right, let's put him. I gotta get a drink, ladies. It's warm in here tonight. All right, so now we'll go back to the right side of the box. And I'm going to grab my pearls. And we're going to use, sorry about that, the larger ones. And we're going to put these pearls right in the center of these tires. And I am going to do both sides. All right. Before we finish this little box, let me just share my screen here. And we will pick a winner. So, hi, Diana. Well, welcome. Pink is your favorite. Hey, Chris from Iowa. Just as so everybody knows, I'm giving away my cup of tea craft box subscription kit. I have one available. And it's the last call. Comment hashtag cup of tea, no spaces, and I will be picking a winner in just a sec. As soon as everybody gets their hashtag cup of tea, we'll pick our winner. So for our balloon, again, I'm going to just add some glue, and we're going to stick it under his trunk. Just like that. And I'm going to turn it like this so it has a chance to dry. So if you'd like a chance to win my cup of tea class, just comment hashtag cup of tea right here. No spaces. This is the last call, and I'm going to pick a winner before we finish up our little box. Okay, so do we have no spaces, ladies? No spaces. All one word. Cup of tea is all one word. So comment again. Hey Ruth, how are you? Very good. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Thank you, Kay. Giveaway. Share. Okay, here we go, ladies. Dawn, you are the winner of my cup of tea. Congratulations. So when you get a chance, send me your address, Dawn. Okay, so now that we have our little elephant here, the last thing we have to do, let's add some sequins. So I'm just going to put one here, one here, one here. Let's grab this little tool. There's actually pearls in here too, which is nice. And let's just add these to the front of our little elephant here. And one more. All right, so there he is, and this is what he holds. So here is our little train. Here's the little card in pink with a great little technique for the elephant. And then here it is in blue. So congratulations again, Dawn. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Dawn just PM me your address, and I will get that to you over the weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. Little box would be cute with, yes, it would. Most definitely, Kathy. And I'll see everybody on Saturday with our Simple Saturday card. So have a great night. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.